guys, welcome to tonight's Survivor 40 chat, Winners at War.
A 2-hour war.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, leading up to next week's 3-hour finale.
Which is probably going to be like a Zoom finale.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, right?
Alright, so this was 2 episodes in one, obviously. After the first, beginning of the first one, it was after they got rid of Kim at the last tribal. Michelle's exposed. Everybody knows she's got her 50-50 coin.
Oh, Michelle, I'm sorry.
Yawn it out, kid.
Michelle is still on the wrong side of the boat. She thought everybody was voting for Jeremy to go.
Well, you know who's on the right side? Jeremy. He has survived 3 tribal councils in a row where he was a dead man walking.
Yeah, he's really pulling off some magic here.
Yeah. So he gave his 50-50, he gave Michelle back her 50-50 coin. Mm-hmm. He didn't hold on to it.
He was like, you know what? I'm not going to leave this up to chance if I'm going to stay or not, which, I would, but no, obviously you're going to work as hard as you can to make sure that you're not in that situation, but I get why he wouldn't want to keep it, because it'd be really awkward with Michelle.
It's hers.
Yeah. Because they're friends. It's not like she was, using, you know what I mean? They're friends. They're cool, so.
All right, well, Denise has a come to tattoo moment. She's like, I don't have any tattoos. And
okay, Real Housewives of New York.
I don't have any tattoos, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get any, but if I were to get ones, I would get Endure on one wrist and Let Go on the other.
She really hit a breaking point at the last tribal council when she was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So now she's kind of trying to, recenter herself, bring herself back into the game.
She didn't mean she was done with the game.
No.
She meant she was done with playing nice.
Ooh.
All right. So, Tony, what an entertaining little bastard. I love him.
Yes, he really is.
He's got that cop mentality.
He's got that 5-day work week.
That's right. 9 days. That's 2 weeks worth of work almost.
Dude, there's 7 days in a week. Jeremy's trying to explain this to him, and he's like, no, if I've got, 10 days, that's 2 weeks of work. And Jeremy's like, we're working every day out here. And Tony's like, I'm on vacation. What?
I love the cop versus fireman versus military guy, soldier, mentality where everybody's working together, but there's this little rivalry between them.
But I want to see everyone
I know.
in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what? They are in their own way.
It's interesting to see, the dynamics, though, of, cops and firemen together.
Because everybody knows they're not friends.
Are they
they're
not?
Not really.
I don't know.
They're not. All right, so trust me, they're not.
Do they have, weekend softball league or something?
Against each other.
On their vacation days.
Yeah. Well, Tony wants to keep Jeremy around because if Jeremy goes, him and his Cops R Us alliance are in big trouble.
Yeah, Jeremy is a number for him at this point. Jeremy is a shield for him at this point. So it makes sense for Tony to keep Jeremy around.
Well, Sarah, the other half of the Cops R Us alliance, talks to Ben and tries to get Ben.
Well, first of all, she was talking about her alliance with Tony and how tight they are this time. They're not going to turn on each other. And it was very that meme of Paul Rudd talking to himself and being like, look at it where we are. Who would have expected this? Not me.
All right. Well, Sarah wants Ben on her side.
Yeah. They want to get Ben off of Jeremy.
Right.
Because Ben is very anti-Jeremy. And Sarah's like, no,
Remember
we need to keep
Ben
him.
wouldn't talk to Jeremy?
That
was ridiculous.
So dumb.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, because Sarah, Tony, and Ben are in a tight 3.
Right.
So they're trying to convince him to get rid of Nick instead of Jeremy.
So she knows that Ben is easily swayed.
He's a lot.
She convinces Ben that it's his idea to get rid of Nick. And this was
Classic.
hilarious.
Classic.
This was hilarious how Ben was spouting off all of the talking points to like Tony, and Tony was playing dumb. Like,
I loved how they cut
oh yeah, that's
right
good.
to him.
That's good.
Telling Tony like, we should get rid of Nick. We should blindside Nick.
Yeah, this is what we need to do, and this is why we should do it.
Yeah.
So that was great. So now it's time for the immunity challenge.
Whoa! I feel like this episode like was moving really quickly.
This episode was like almost 50% tribal council.
There was a lot of tribal council going
Yeah.
on, which was surprising because it wasn't really. We'll get there, but it wasn't really like a crazy tribal.
No. So this is for immunity and 2 fire tokens. It was the old throw the ball up on the ramp, run under it, catch the ball.
You gotta go through some obstacles to get to the other side.
You gotta dig through some sand, and then you gotta solve a slide puzzle. I freaking hate slide puzzles.
I
mean, I love them, but I hate them.
They make me crazy.
All right, so Jeremy had an early lead, and Michelle was freaking dead last.
She could not get past the obstacle with the balls.
She was really upset about that, too. She didn't even get 1 ball before the challenge was over.
Yeah.
And Nick snuck right in there and won freaking immunity. Oh, what?
What? Yeah, he just showed up out of nowhere and was like, Jeff, I think I have it. And he was like, you do.
Yeah, that came together quickly for Nick. And Nick was plan A, so now what?
Uh-oh. Yeah, like, it seemed like everybody pretty much was on board to get rid of Nick, except probably, like, Michelle, right?
Oh, except Nick.
Yeah. Maybe even Nick was. I don't know.
I don't know. But plan B is Denise? What?
So now Ben is not happy about that.
Because he's tight with Denise.
He feels like Denise is a number for him, and he's like, no, I don't think so. And of course, Ben wants to take out Jeremy. Everybody knows that.
Well, Ben also wants to flush out Michelle's 50-50.
Right.
So he's talking to Jeremy. And
he's trying to make it seem like he wants Michelle out.
Right.
Because he's telling Jeremy, oh, you should go talk to her and try and get her 50-50 away from her again so that we can get rid of her. So he's telling Jeremy, go ask her for it or whatever. And he's like, okay, I will.
So then Ben, before Jeremy goes to Michelle, says to Michelle, I have a prediction. Let me hold up the envelope like Johnny Carson. Oh, yes, Jeremy's going to come to you and ask for your 50-50 because you're the target.
So Michelle's like, what? But then Jeremy talks to Michelle and is like, guess what? Ben wants me to ask you for your coin. And Michelle's like, oh, I see. So Ben is trying to play both sides here.
Yeah.
Duh.
So you would think Ben's in big, big trouble. But he's not really.
I mean, he does have Tony and Sarah on his side.
Yeah. Well, now Jeremy wants to get Ben out because he's done with him. He's had enough of his BS. And the Cops Are Us Alliance tells Ben, Jeremy's coming after you.
I mean,
let's get rid of Jeremy.
That's gotta be obvious, right? I mean, of course Ben and Jeremy are going after each other.
Yeah. So at Tribal, Jeff's talking about how difficult it was for Michelle at the challenge. Thanks a lot, Jeff, for pointing it out.
That was a pretty good impression.
Thank you.
Then they were talking about how this season it's tough to play with this group of people because it's not like your first season through when you don't really care about everybody else because you don't know them. But these people have connections.
You are in the alumni club. Pretty much everybody.
Not just the alumni club, but the winners club.
Yeah, the winners club. So a lot of these people have prior relationships with these people. A lot of these people, if they didn't know them before, have forged really strong relationships during this season.
I mean, you still want to play the game and you want to play hard, but at the same time, you don't want to hurt these people on a personal level.
You don't want to be a D.
Right?
You don't want to betray
Who wants
people.
to be a D?
But you have to. You have to betray people because that's the only way you're going to get through this.
Yeah.
And everybody, it really broke my heart when everybody was talking about how badly they were mentally messed up after their seasons of Survivor.
Not even trusting like their
spouse. That's crazy. I mean,
know.
I could see like going to work and like not trusting the people that you work with.
I mean, that's work, right?
But your own spouse? That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy. You can have some real survivor PTSD.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people really,
I think it's
like,
the same thing with Big Brother. A lot of
absolutely.
people
Like,
have bad mental problems after this.
therapy is not a bad thing, guys.
It's not
Embrace
a bad
it.
thing, but it just sucks that, like, you know this is going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
And you do it on purpose. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, this is my last week for my advantage, Jeff. I'm going to play it. So, and Jeff says, are you going to play it for yourself or someone else?
She wasn't really clear about that.
And Jeremy's like,
well, yeah, that was after the vote.
yeah.
Yeah, so they voted, and then it's time for Michelle to actually play her advantage, and Jeff is like, who's it going to be? I mean, can you imagine if Michelle had played it for Jeremy, and then because of the split vote, like, she was the one to go?
If she had played it for Jeremy,
it would have been a tie,
it would have been a tie.
But still, she could have gone.
Exactly.
So that would have been insane.
She probably would have gone.
So it was smart of her to play it for herself.
Yes. But unfortunately, that meant that Jeremy was voted out.
Yeah, well, just to say, too, like, she did get safety from the coin flip.
And it was safe.
Yeah. And Jeremy, like you said, was voted out.
Yeah.
That sucks. I didn't want Jeremy to go.
He got voted out, and he still gave his 2 fire tokens to her.
She was loyal to him.
She was. I mean, she had to protect herself.
Yeah. I mean, you can't fault her for that.
No.
So then after Tribal...
After the Tribal, we went back to the camp.
Of course, Ben is so excited because he finally got Jeremy out.
Him and Tony are celebrating in the dark at the well. They're all excited. Mm-hmm. And they decide that they want Michelle out next, followed by Nick.
I guess they figure Michelle is a huge threat to win this thing because of her social game. Mm-hmm. She's got a lot of friends. She hasn't really made enemies.
Right.
Yeah. That's how she won her first season.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic social game.
Okay, so Michelle and Nick have a little meeting, and they say, oh my God, Nick, we're on the bottom.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so they know that they are the next 1 and 2 on the hit list. And Nick says, you know what, we should try and get Ben out.
Why is no one talking about getting rid of Tony or Sarah?
I don't know.
They are
Maybe
playing
they just don't think
so
they
well.
would have the votes to do it.
But wouldn't you think, like, you would have a better chance of flipping a vote if it was for a big player like that instead of, like, one of these middle of the road players? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you want to go after the big fish? Aren't you more likely to get that done?
I would. I don't know why they would go after Ben. I don't feel like Ben has a lot of
friends on the jury?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just don't understand what. I guess Tony and Sarah, it's credit to them. They're just playing that well that they don't have people coming after them at this point.
So Michelle goes to Sarah, and she's trying to convince Sarah that she needs to break herself away from Tony. And that see what happens? She says go after a big fish. That was the wrong fish to go after. You don't talk to Sarah about getting rid of her partner.
I mean, it's got to be said at some point, right? Because, like, realistically, who's going to beat Tony?
Sarah.
Would she?
No.
I don't know that she would.
Maybe not. All right, well, over at Edge of Extinction, they are in the dregs.
They're really going through it.
What do they get, like 100 grains of rice each?
I don't know. That was a very, very small portion.
On a leaf? Burnt.
Very small portion.
Oh, that was so sad.
Well, they got some mail.
Right. They got little scrolls, or no, actually they got a cutting board or something.
Of wood, yeah.
Cutting board.
Little charcuterie board.
Yeah, and no charcuterie though.
No.
It said blah blah blah, throne of stone. Go.
So everybody has their own interpretation of what they think is the throne of stone.
Rob's going into the water.
Yeah, Rob and Danny.
Danny, yeah.
Wendell's going up to the top
of the mountain.
Yeah.
But
Natalie, come on, she was the first one at the edge of
the
extinction.
OG.
She knows this island.
Mm-hmm.
So she successfully finds the advantage.
She is a beast.
I'm so impressed by her.
She doesn't even look like she lost any weight.
She just looks cut.
She looks so physically fit.
Yeah.
And she is really, really proving it.
I can't believe the way she's been running around this island.
I know. She is one solid muscle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so she got it. It's in a nice little box. She opens it up, shares the experience with everyone.
That's nice.
That was nice. She reveals that it's a disadvantage to sell. So the person who potentially would buy it can use it against someone.
They can pick someone to get a disadvantage in the next immunity challenge.
Right.
And Natalie can charge as much as she wants.
As much as she thinks she can get.
Yeah.
But they have to buy it by sundown, otherwise it's null and void.
Mm-hmm.
Null and void, where prohibited.
So she decides to try and sell this advantage to Nick.
For 8 tokens.
Oh, dang. The prices keep going up.
Yeah.
So Nick is like, oh, snap. I only have 6 fire tokens. So he's talking to Michelle about it because he's like, well, it's kind of sketchy because he kind of just screwed Michelle over at the last vote. But she's like, all right, fine. Because this could be really good for her game.
And she's basically got nothing else going on.
So she gives him 2 fire tokens to give him the total of 8 that he needs.
I guess they kind of brainstormed together who they would use the advantage against.
Mm-hmm.
So
Advantage/disadvantage.
Right. Yeah, it's an advantage-disadvantage, really.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's time for the immunity challenge.
And again, in addition to the immunity idol, 2 fire tokens are up for grabs. And I think they said, like, this is the last chance to earn fire tokens and the last chance to use
spend.
them.
You gotta spend them if you got them.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're just gonna be sold on eBay. All right, so...
Well, don't they usually sell a lot of
They do.
the props and stuff for charity?
They do, but you get to keep whatever, like you kept in the game. I guess. If you have an idol and you don't play it, I think you get to keep it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you're right, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so
this immunity challenge was pretty fun.
This was the one where you have to set up your blocks like dominoes on this shaky beam, and it has like a little grid work that you have to step through.
Yeah, you can only place the dominoes one at a time, of course,
right.
And you only get a certain amount, so
right.
You don't want to put them like right next to each other because then you're gonna run out.
You have to get it at exactly the right spacing so that they don't miss any, and you have to have it at exactly the right spacing so that they make it all the way to the end, because it has to hit a gong at the end.
This was interesting too because as you move further down the beam, the spaces that you have to step through kept getting smaller and smaller, so you could kind of rush through the beginning and not really worry about knocking things over, but then as you get closer to the end, it's like...
How hilarious was it that Tony was holding up his shorts like a freaking bikini?
Oh my god.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, you don't want those shorts getting caught on the apparatus.
Right. So Jeff reveals there's a disadvantage being played. And it's being played against Ben. And Ben was like, what?
This was anonymous, by the way.
Right.
He's not allowed to know who played this against him.
Which didn't stop him from asking afterwards, like,
Jeff was like,
who did this?
No.
Yeah. So the disadvantage was that his beam was 30% longer and he had 30% more dominoes
to cover it.
So basically the same thing as everybody else, but just 30% longer. So Ben was having lots of trouble at first, but he really...
Yeah, I was like, 0% chance of winning. Because he was really trying to take the quick approach and take his chances here. But
you were wrong, daughter. He really made up some time there.
Made up a lot of time because he almost won.
It really came down between him and Michelle. Nobody had any really, like, blowouts that they showed anyway.
Oh, like failed attempts?
Yeah.
Well, I saw Tony tried his at the end and it didn't make it. And I called that from the first placement.
You said they were too far apart. All right.
But yeah, Michelle ended up winning this thing.
Ooh, was she happy because she needed this.
Yeah,
she
and
needed this.
It's a good thing for her that Nick used that disadvantage on Ben because he could have won that thing. If he didn't have the disadvantage, he could have blown everybody out of the water.
Yeah. So we get back to Tribe. Oh, no.
To camp.
Yeah. We get back to the camp, and Denise knows that she is on the chopping block.
Because
she
again,
can
she's
do the
like,
math.
well, damn, can't get rid of Michelle now.
Yeah.
Again, why is nobody, like, targeting Tony and Sarah? But yeah, she's like, okay, I gotta pull some strings here. I gotta do some crazy stuff.
Why would you target them when you know that they're in a cluster? It was so
you gotta
obvious.
break them up.
I know, but they don't. No, that's not going to happen. They're tight. They're cops.
Well, good luck getting to the final 3.
Everybody knows they're cops. Right?
Good luck getting to the final 3.
Well, that's, yeah. All right, so Denise says, you know what? I know I'm going, so why don't we all use our tokens to buy a bag of rice, and we'll all have full bellies. I'll have a better chance coming back.
Mm-hmm. The Edge of Extinction
challenge. From Edge, and yeah, let's get some rice. So
she wasn't saying like I'm done, like I may as well eat rice, but like she's trying to play it up like, oh, I think I'm going. Mm-hmm.
Well,
but obviously she's hoping it's not gonna be her.
Well, I mean, it kind of works because the Cops Are Us alliance was targeting Nick,
mm-hmm.
and she really wasn't figuring too much in the equation there, but. The Cops Are Us also said, what about Ben?
Well, wasn't Nick saying, like, what about Ben? Because Nick doesn't want to go.
No. Well, they're not going to tell Nick that he's going.
Yeah. So then Tony's like, all right, I need to go in my spy nest. I need to see if there are other threats that I should be more concerned about.
I am shocked as shit that nobody knew that he was up in that spy nest when...
I love when they show him through the leaves just like...
Didn't they realize that the camera was pointing up at him in the tree when they were having their little chat at the watering hole?
I don't know.
Come on. Come on!
So then, yeah, he did overhear a conversation between Sarah and Denise. The question is, do you think Sarah was in on this and she lured Denise to that spot to talk?
It could very well be.
Right? Because she knows about about Tony's spy nest.
Exactly. She knew.
So she must have been in on that setup.
Yeah.
So Denise was talking about like, oh, we need to get Tony out.
Oh, see? See what happens?
So, well, I mean, yeah, when you talk to the wrong people.
Yeah. Well, there's only 6 people.
But why are the 3 that are not in that group? You know?
Yeah.
Come on.
So now that Tony heard that Denise wants him out, he wants her out. A little tit for tat. So at Tribal, Michelle says, Jeff, I'm on the bottom.
She really needed that immunity win.
Yeah.
She really wanted a great time.
Yeah. She's peaking at the right time,
yeah.
One would say. Ben is still wondering, hey, who gave the disadvantage to me?
At this point, he doesn't even know if it's somebody from the Edge of Extinction or somebody still in the game. So he's got no idea who it could be.
Right. So everybody's wondering, hey, who's going to come back? Who's going to come back? Are they going to want to work with me? Are they going to be in an alliance with me? Are they going to be against me, even though we might have been together, you know, when they were originally here? So
then they get to the vote super early into the second hour, and I'm just like...
And by the way, both of these tribals, the one before this and this one, no whispering, nothing.
Yeah, it was just like really calm, really chill.
Yeah.
So it was a little sus.
It was very... strange after every single tribal this season pretty much was like chaos.
I mean, maybe it's just that point in the game where like these alliances are pretty set for right now, you know, until they get to the end.
Yeah, but no whispering.
Maybe that's why the tribal segments were so long too, and like why they ended the episode the way that they did, because there just wasn't like that much strategizing going on.
Yeah, there wasn't that much drama.
So anyway, they go to vote, and Nick is voted out.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, so the rest of this episode was...
a little bit weird.
A lot weird.
So they showed the Edge of Extinction. It was the last morning before the challenge. Everybody is like excited to get off the island.
They
excited
got the
to get
new
another
bracelets.
chance. Yeah. excited to get another chance to go back in. And like you said, they got the new price list for the fire tokens.
Well, first of all, Amber's going to miss her alone time with her husband.
Yeah.
Those damn kids weren't there. They finally had a chance to, like, reconnect. And, like, she has really formed an even stronger relationship with these other people from Survivor. So she's going to miss that. You know, she wants to see her kids, but she...
No, I'm sure it's like a bittersweet thing. Like, I don't have to be in this torture, on this torture island anymore. But at the same time, it's like...
I'm going to miss this.
You're used to... I don't know.
I don't know. You know what? It's probably like a spa day for her because she's been playing this game so many times. It's like nothing. I would die out there, but she's just like, oh, well, this is a little inconvenient.
Yeah, so then... Like you said, fire tokens, price list. So people are buying up advantages and stuff.
And idols.
Most people didn't have that many tokens to spend.
But Natalie did. Natalie had 14 effing tokens.
What?
And she is a beast.
That doesn't even include the tokens that she had before the first round of purchasing, right?
Right.
Because she already had an idol for herself that she bought, and she's allowed to carry that over to this try.
Right. She had an idol coming into this. She bought 3 advantages.
Damn!
A jar of peanut butter, and an idol for Tyson.
That was insane. She is so good.
And she still had tokens left over.
No, I thought that she had the 6 left over and she used it to buy the idol for it. I mean, I'm not totally sure on that, but...
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
But Tyson was very taken by that.
That was so nice to see that emotion after she gave him the idol.
And he didn't even share his peanut butter with her. When he bought it.
Yeah, right? It was kind of interesting, though, that she's so close to Tyson now when she used to be, like, super tight with Jeremy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess they just bonded on the edge of Extinction. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably spent a lot of time there. And Tyson had quite a few tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
Then the show took a weird turn where they gave the recap
like they usually
for the finale.
For the finale.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're just going to jump right into the challenge next week?
I guess it's going to be very time consuming to do this as a Zoom thing for the finale.
I guess.
It's going to be something that we've never seen before, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it's just going to be really different. And I guess they probably have it filmed already, and they probably said, you know what, this is going to be long. We need to put the recap at the end of this episode.
Well, I mean, there's still 5 people left, plus whoever's coming back from the edge of Extinction. So,
so I guess next week they're gonna have the finale. Obviously, 3 hours. 2 for the show and 1 for the reunion. So
yeah, but it seems like the last few seasons, at least, the show part has been going into that 3rd hour quite a bit.
Do you think they're going to do another recap next week? And, like, they just needed time. The tribals were so short this...
I felt like the tribals were long, though. I don't know.
The first one was. The second one wasn't.
I would hope that they wouldn't do the same recap again.
Maybe a different recap.
I would hope we're just going to jump right into the challenge, but it's just, like, a weird setup. Because you get everybody... You're, like, setting everybody up for this Edge of Extinction thing, and then it's like, oh, time for a recap.
But was this recap that they did tonight just for the final 5? Or was this recap that they did from the beginning of the...
It was from the beginning of the season.
Ah, shoot. Maybe they'll do a final 5 recap. Like, just, like...
Highlighting
each one. Which is, by the way, Ben, Denise, Tony, Sarah, and Michelle. Mm-hmm. And 1 player from Edge of Extinction, which I'm assuming...
It's got to be Natalie.
It's got to be Natalie with all those advantages, right?
She's got 3 advantages here.
And she's a beast.
Yeah.
Unless it's some sort of a crapshoot, which I don't think they would do that for the final to get back in.
It's going to be interesting, though, to see how this plays out.
Who would you like to see? Not who do you think will win it all?
I feel like Tony's just got such a great handle on this whole thing. It's going to be tough to take him out. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But he could get cut right at the end. You never know.
He could. Okay. I agree with that, by the way. And who would you like to see come back from Edge?
I want to see Natalie come back.
I want to see Natalie come back, too, because I think she really deserves it.
On the Edge of Extinction since, like, the very beginning.
it would really suck not to see her come back after all that she's been through on Extinction.
Mm-hmm.
So
she put in the work. It wasn't like she just stayed there on vacation. You know what I mean?
Right.
She put in the work.
So let us know what you think in the comments, guys. I want you to answer 2 questions, the ones that I just asked Matt over here. Who do you think out of the final 5 will, who do you want to win? Well, who do you want to win?
Oh, it's want? Did we say want or would?
Want.
Okay.
Who do you want Tony to win?
I mean, yeah, he's entertained me this season.
He has been very entertaining, and he has been very smart in his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get cut after he was caught red-handed playing both sides.
True.
And who do you want to see come back from Extinction? So, first one, who do you want from the final 5 to win? And number 2, who do you want to see come back from Extinction? Okay. And if you want do you want to see Natalie win after coming back from Extinction?
I don't know. I'd be really curious to see how she would do. It depends on who she was, if she does come back, it depends who she's at the end with, if she makes it to the end. There's a lot of ifs here.
I don't think she would make it to the end after coming back because that group is just too tight.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her beating, like, Ben, maybe, but I don't know if she would have enough to beat, like, anyone else.
Yeah. Although, she's got a lot of friends on the jury.
True.
Because she spent a hell of a lot of time with them on Extinction.
Yeah, I mean, that is a real bonder, so it's tough to say what would happen.
All right, so next week's the finale. Thanks for joining us for our weekly chats. And until next week, much love.